Okay, so we have a bit more of a fun video today. As you know, there is a lot of advice on the internet detailing what it takes to build out a high converting sales process or funnel. Too much advice, in fact. So, my goal with this video is to leverage my 3+ years as direct marketer and consultant behind the scenes of many online operations to basically just go through and rank every conceivable aspect of what you could include in your own pipeline from worst to best. So, we're going to go through the things that are just absolutely non-negotiable you need, the things that are nice to have but not really necessary in the beginning, and the things that you should just not waste your time or money on whatsoever. Now, before we get into this tier list, there are two kind of disclaimers that I need to give you. First of all, just because I say it sucks does not mean that people don't get success with it, okay? The criteria that we're using here is basically just, let's say, you want to make a streamlined funnel that's going to be low stress, easy to manage, print you money, and also support a premium framing for your offer. And second of all, my opinions also may change with time. I may have been around in this space for a while, but I dare say the longer I stay around, my opinions may shift. But without further ado, let's go ahead and just get right into this ranking. This is cold outreach. As you can see, he's very cold. So cold outreach is obviously when you send a DM or email to a prospect who may or may not be interested in buying from you, and they have no prior knowledge of you, your offer, or your brand, and you just try and sell them there and then on the spot. To be blunt, cold outreach is the most low leverage thing that you could possibly do, just period. I used to do it back when I was a freelancer, and it taught me this. To succeed with cold outreach, you need to be operating at such a massive scale, massive volume, and simultaneously, you need to preserve the individual quality of each cold pitch that you send. Problem is, that's basically burning the candle at both ends. You can't really put out volume without sacrificing the quality of individual pitches. It's not sustainable, and you don't have any sort of compounding effect, like you don't get more authority the more pitches that you send. So I'm gonna have to just put cold outreach in an instant D tier. This shit sucks. Content is the highest lever that you can pull. YouTube is the best platform for putting out content as well because of the longer form nature of the videos. The more time that your prospects can spend with you, the more they're going to understand what you do, and they're going to trust you more because they're spending more time with you. As well, every new video that you put out, you build up digital real estate. Your authority compounds because then you can look back and say, look, I've been doing this for X amount of time. Just fantastic, amazing YouTube, instant S+ tier. You need to be using YouTube. Instagram's an interesting one because you can get the same sort of benefits as you get with YouTube, but it's not as good. And it's for one main reason. People are able to spend more time with you on YouTube because Instagram is built around shorter form content. So think like Reels and stuff. Now, Instagram is especially good for things like feeding people into other parts of your funnel. Like if you're going to be making Reels, one of the best things that you can do is clip your long form YouTube videos, put them as Reels, and then direct people to the YouTube videos. But you'd be making YouTube videos in that situation, right? Instagram is fine. All of the people that I've ever worked with, when they've like tried Instagram as a strategy, found that it was extremely difficult to do basically because creative fatigue would set in. You'd have to be putting things out at a rapid pace, rapid volume. People who succeed on Instagram have whole teams managing their content output. I'm gonna have to put it in B tier because it's just not as good. Things like story campaigns as well, like selling on your story and that after you've built up a following over there is really effective. DM funnels, I don't really have a comment on those. They're kind of eh. Ads can get very expensive very quickly. And if you don't have a already established sort of following to fall back on, sometimes it's just going to make things very, very difficult because you're going to be dealing with cold audiences. And of course, dealing with cold audiences, so people that have never heard of you, your offer, or anything, is very, very difficult. And I can tell you that because I actually started out writing for cold traffic ads, basically. That's where I come from. It's very aggressive, very competitive. You need a lot of different creatives, a huge amount of output, very expensive. And to be honest, they're not as effective as organic at all. YouTube, people can spend more time with you. Native ads, people can't. For the kind of thing that we're selling, okay, like for your high-ticket coaching or consulting business, ads are great to do later on down the line when you've built up that sort of like credible following. But that's not to say that native ads are bad, because they're not. It's just for our specific situation, we don't need them, so they get a C tier. TikTok is just Instagram, but worse. Okay, TikTok is great if you want to be if you're running like a drop shipping business and you're trying to like, you know, test your garbage Chinese products and try and get people to buy into them. TikTok's great for that. but it's a very, very low leverage platform, requires a lot of effort, and the effort would be better put on Instagram. Instagram has a way bigger commercial scene than TikTok, and it just makes more sense to use that platform because you get the same thing but better. Instagram just negates the need for TikTok. D tier. Shit platform anyway. I've never installed it on my phone and I never will. Who actually calls X X? You know what I mean? Like, it's Twitter. It's the stupidest name change ever, honestly. Twitter is not what it used to be. When they used to have a pretty big money Twitter. That was like a huge scene. I think it still exists today. I just think that you can get the same sort of benefit from YouTube, and it takes a lot of time to build up your sort of portfolio on Twitter. And it's a lot harder as well, I think, to break into that sort of money Twitter space. But I will put it in C tier. We cannot see that at all. Man, why did I have to get the transparent one? No way. I tried LinkedIn. I thought, hey, I'm gonna deal with professional people on LinkedIn. Man, was I mistaken. It's got a really finicky algorithm. It's very difficult to build up a sort of following in the same way that it is on Twitter. But I would say it's even harder on LinkedIn. And they have all of these stupid random rules as well, like DM limits and annoying stuff like that. People have won with LinkedIn. I've seen it happen, like in our space. But it's just so complicated for no reason. I would just have to put it in a C tier. I work with a client who does have a free school community. I've seen a lot of people have free school communities, and this is my take on them. They are good, especially for getting close to your prospects, because you can just like reach out to them in the DMs as soon as they join. Great for that. The only thing is, I think this works better if you have a paid school group. Then yes, a free community is pretty good because it's got that sort of natural next step, which is upgrade to the paid group. But I don't think it's as worth doing if your offer's not hosted on school, you know what I mean? So I think it's conditional, but it definitely works 100%. The only major issue that we've found dealing with free school communities is, especially if you've got a paid group as well, it is very difficult to be constantly putting your attention into the free group, okay? Like, it's just very unrealistic to expect that you can maintain a ongoing engaged community in a free group. Now, not gonna lie, people have done this. I know Andrew Kirby's group is free and he's got a lot of stuff going on there. Same with, I think, Charlie Morgan's as well. So you can 100% do that, but think about it. These people have a lot of backing behind them that they can keep the community going. Whereas we probably don't, okay? I'll put it in B tier. Like I said, it's good, it's conditional though. Now, do you know what this is? If you are a frequent user of school.com, you will know that this is the DMs from school. And this means school networking. So school networking, again, it's a conditional thing. If you have a paid school offer, like naturally people will check out your profile and be like, oh, this guy's got an offer, yeah, let's talk more, let me try and get into his paid school group. Can still do this if you don't host your offer on school, like it does still work. And it's really, really good. If you get into the right groups, you can find qualified leads that are like prepared to, and willing to buy very, very fast. Actually, I think school networking is pretty sound. You just kind of like get to know people and then jump in the DMs, or they jump in your DMs, and you just kind of, you know, sell them from there. I think it's pretty good. I used to run a newsletter for like years, okay? Many years. I may open my newsletter back up again soon. I don't know when, but it took too much effort, basically. Which is the thing I'm gonna just put out here. The thing with a newsletter is it's great if you've got a massive following that you can just funnel into it, and then you've got a huge list that is worth mailing all of the time. If you don't have that, it's not really the best idea. It can take a lot of work, unless you just make it really shit. But then nobody wants to be on a shit email list, so why would you do that? The things you can do with email are amazing. That's a reason why there are people out there that literally make their entire like millions and millions of dollars every year just by writing emails every day. For our specific situation, you may not need this. It is really good, but again, you don't need it in the beginning. Lead magnet. So lead magnet is just like a free resource, of course, basically to incentivize people to take an action that you want to. Usually joining an email list or something like that, or a school community. Lead magnets are good, but the thing is with lead magnets is it's a very conditional thing in the sense that if your lead magnet is just like crap, like nobody's gonna care, and it's not gonna make a difference. You'll be like, wow, but I'm giving away this free stuff. Why is no one interested? If it's just trash, no one will care if it's free. And sometimes making things free just devalues the thing in the prospect's eyes anyway. Probably an S tier. I think it can really be enough to push people sometimes if it's a good lead magnet. While we are on the topic of lead magnets, a good lead magnet is something that's actually helpful and you get use out of, okay? People are sick of having AI generated spreadsheets or whatever the hell, so you need a lead magnet that's actually good. A great example of a lead magnet that is actually good is my lead magnet. If you're interested in leveraging the power of personal branding, the #1 marketing and sales tool today, and go overhauling your own process, getting some one-on-one help, you can go ahead and apply for a totally free audit at this link. It's in the description, so go check that if you are interested. And basically just like book a call with me and we'll go ahead and get this through to you in 72 hours. Me and my team will basically go through your business and personally review, like in insane amounts of detail that you've probably never had before, your business's core constraints from what we can see. We'll review your offer, your level of demand capture, any sort of conversion leakage in the pipeline, and also just look at your current monetization potential and your customer lifetime value. So are you making as much money as you could be with what you already have? This is the kind of thing that people pay thousands and thousands of dollars for. I am offering this to you for free. Literally zero. Why am I doing this? Well, because I can. Like, there's no other reason. Because I can. I don't know anybody that's offering comprehensive marketing and sales audits for literally $0. I don't know anyone else who's doing that. Go ahead, check it out. Completely free. This is what a good lead magnet looks like. Podcasting is a full-time job in and of itself, okay? I do not recommend, just as like for client acquisition, having a podcast with like really long form content. If you get invited to be on one, then like, what the hell, like why not? As long as they have a large audience of qualified people that if they listen to this episode or watch this episode, they're gonna see you and be like, oh, this guy looks good, and check you out. You just don't need these at all. It's really, really unnecessary. SEO, again, is a full-time job in and of itself, and if you're relying solely on SEO to get people onto your sales process, you're kind of missing out on the organic thing. And if you're doing well organically, you don't really need this anyway. And you might just end up kind of getting a bunch of inquiries that you don't really want. So when I've worked with companies that have really they really care about SEO basically, usually what happens is they just get inquiries like spam and things that they like from unqualified people. Especially for our situation, C tier. If you go straight to a book a call page, you are killing conversions, and that is an absolute fact. If you were to look at the data, you would see this. If you expect people to just book a call with you, despite not having anything in between the organic content and that page, that is not a good idea. You want people to be able to go through and read a full, proper argument that's like, gets them hyped about booking a call before just being sent straight to this page. You can't put a huge argument or anything, or any kind of comprehensive objection handling stuff on a book a call page. It's not as bad as these. People like can still book calls, but at the same time, it's just really not worth running that risk. Now, landing page is obviously that space that you take somebody to after watching your content, and you can present to them a bunch of objection handling information, argument, just to basically kind of get them to take the next step. We're going to assume that this landing page is just like pure sales copy. That's really good. For that purpose, I'm going to put it in an S tier if it's just copy. Again, it's going to depend on who it is that you're selling to. But when combined with this, the VSL, if you have the VSL on the landing page, then 100% S tier. You need a good VSL. VSLs are difficult, but they are so high leverage, so high return on investment. VSLs are something that you absolutely need. Now, am I completely averse to sales copy on a landing page? No. But I would recommend you have a VSL before even thinking about the sales copy on that page, because a VSL is more engaging for the prospect, and there's a higher chance that you can retain their attention than you would if it was just like a wall of text basically. But again, like when combined, it's really, really effective. But you do honestly just need a VSL. You don't even need sales copy on a landing page. You just need a few like words, and just the VSL is enough, genuinely. So VSL is a non-negotiable S+ tier, 100%. I can't believe we live in a world where people either don't take VSLs seriously or don't have them at all. That's just insane to me. Personal branding, I am going to give an S+. plus. Now that we are on the topic, personal branding is the most powerful marketing tool that you can leverage in 2026. We live in an age where everything is oversaturated, there's AI slop everywhere, and people are just being commodified because of how many options your prospects have. Personal branding negates this. Personal branding allows for you to basically kill your acquisition costs because everybody's going to know about you through your brand, and massively increase as well your lifetime value because of how much hold you have over people thanks to your brand. That's influence, that's power. You can get people to buy more from you just because your brand is good, okay? It is so powerful. The thing is, I know that finding the time to learn and then actually design a personal brand that's really profitable for yourself is no easy feat, okay? And to boot, right, there is very little advice online, and there's even less actually helpful advice. Now, I do have for you several videos already on just personal branding as a topic as a whole. You can go ahead and check those out after this video if you feel so inclined to do so. And also, I'm going to be making tons more because personal branding is just the best marketing tool, period, right now, okay? So make sure to subscribe to the channel and you won't miss any new uploads about this topic specifically, so that you can actually have somewhere to learn about how to do this and then implement it and benefit from it. Because I'm telling you, there is so little advice on this on the internet. It's so vague, so useless. You want to actually get the benefits out of personal branding, stay here on this channel. But if you would prefer something more personalized to your specific situation, we can work closely with you to build out a profitable personal brand, so you can basically nuke your customer acquisition costs in the long term and print like while you sleep. I've put here, even if there's a war outside. I'm not necessarily guaranteeing that, that's just hype. I'll, please don't sue me. But the point stands the same, okay? Because no matter what happens, if people know who you are and people like who you are forever going to have a foothold in people's minds in the market that you're in. That is why it is so good. If you're interested in actually helping us work with you to use my motherload of knowledge and build out your own unique personal brand that is magnetic, prints you money, allows you to just get that leverage that you really need to be taking advantage of before it's too late, before everybody else finally catches on to this in who knows when, go ahead and check the link in the description. Book a call with me. Let's see what we can do. Do you need webinars? No. They also take a very long time to actually prepare, and then you gotta host it and whatnot. Yeah, very annoying. I don't think these are necessary at all. And also, it requires people to actually be at the event live. Like, unless you have a huge following of people who would be really willing to like go into a live event with you, then you're already going to be losing out. You might as well just have something pre-recorded, like a good VSL, over a webinar. You don't need this. I will put this in C tier. Yeah. Google Forms. Why have I put Google Forms here? Because what you can do before they end up booking a call with you is you can have your prospects go through a form of questions, and there is a huge benefit to this, okay? And I'll tell you what that is. So essentially, you can structure the questions in a specific way to make your prospects sort of sell themselves into the decision. Very effective. And also, it allows you to filter out people who really just aren't qualified, and the people who are qualified and will jump on the call with you, you're going to know like a lot about them. So that conversation that you have is going to be very smooth. You don't need it because the VSL is already going to do half the job, but I will put this in S tier because they are super valuable. If you've spent time on Instagram, you know, you'll probably have seen this platform in somebody's link tree before. Stan Store gets an instant D tier, and I'll tell you why. You should not be trying to sell high-ticket products on a storefront like you would sell groceries or clothes. It's ridiculous. It basically devalues whatever it is that you're selling, and also on storefronts like that, you have no leverage in the sense there's no space to build out hype for a particular product. If we're selling high ticket, then we want to make sure that we preserve a premium framing and we actually hype up every individual product. We want to have VSLs, we want to have landing pages, we want that kind of cohesive process for high ticket products. Stan Store gives you no room to do this. I don't care what these creator economy people, why is it called that? I don't care what they say, Stan Store is not very good at all. Do not just send people straight to this platform. I've seen a lot of people start writing books lately. Now, books are great. They obviously take a very long time to write. Take it from a guy who's spent his entire years of youth writing books. They take a very, very long time, okay? And then, of course, you got to get them published, yada, yada, yada. So they take an awful lot of time to do. They are effective, though. The only reason that you would want to be making haste when it comes to getting a book out is if the offer that you have is just genuinely really expensive. So a good example that comes to mind is someone like Nero Knowledge. So that guy has a very, very expensive offer. He's targeting entrepreneurs with like multi-million-dollar revenue ceilings. So obviously he's not going to be able to reach everybody with that kind of targeting. A book then allows him to profit off of the bunch of people that are interested in his stuff but can't afford for that one-to-one support. In that case, a book's really, really helpful. It's also just great for bringing people into your kind of like world as it is. So I would say physical books are really, really good. But again, it's going to be completely dependent on your specific situation as to whether or not you should even write a book or like when you should write a book. For that reason, I am going to put this in A tier and not S tier. Because again, like, you do not need to be writing a whole ass book in most cases. Word of mouth is fantastic. Great way to get word of mouth is just basically deliver really well to your clients. Have a really good personal brand so that when people spread that word of mouth and say, hey, you know, this guy's really, really good, they're going to have a like image and identity actually attached to that, so it hits in an actually impactful way. But word of mouth is amazing. Word of mouth is just free leads. You don't even have to pay for this. Obviously, it requires a little bit of work to get to that sort of level where you can get word of mouth. Yes, I have used the Rolling Stones thing here. I'm going to put word of mouth in S tier. So we can see here that basically the number one things is going to be organic content on YouTube, have a really good VSL, have a good personal brand, get word of mouth as a result of these things, and of course have that landing page with the VSL, obviously. So that's going to mean that our ideal streamlined sales funnel is going to look a little bit like this. We're going to have people come in at organic content, so we're going to use YouTube for this because it is the best platform for this. Then we're going to take people to a landing page with a really, really good VSL. And then we can just go straight to booking a call after the VSL. Like, that's completely viable. If we want to add on an extra, we can put in an email list or a free school community. If you want to, it's going to depend on the specific situation. And you can also add in a form. That's another thing that we can add. Get on the sales call, you close, deliver really well, and then you get word of mouth after that, so it's great. But you will notice that overarching all of this is going to be your personal brand. Your personal brand is the image that is associated with you. It basically overshadows everything that you do. You need to have a good brand, you need to have a unique brand that you're leveraging so that all of this, like, people will happily go through even the worst landing page if you have a good brand, okay? People will be willing to basically let that slide. So you're going to make sure that you're leveraging that personal brand, because all of this then just becomes 10 times easier. Like, who doesn't want that? Thanks so much for getting to the end of this video. Remember, that link is down in the description if you want to start taking advantage of the #1 marketing and sales tool that is out there, with people who actually know what they're talking about, actually have insight that you can't find anywhere on the internet. And let's just start nuking that acquisition cost. Let's start printing when you sleep. So I hope you found this all really helpful, and I will see you in the next video.